3, 2, 1. Hey Shorties, welcome back to the Short Asian Girls podcast, where we talk about everything Asian from a 5 feet point of view.
This podcast is about music, fashion, food, cheesemint, and of course just being short.
And again, we may not be ABGs, but we sure are SAGs, and we'll talk about everything and anything related to it.
Woo.
So for today, we have a very, very special guest, and that is...
What's up? Kirsten Collins here.
Hi.
I'm so stoked to
Welcome
be here.
to the Short Asian Girls podcast.
Thank you.
You're our first female guest.
I feel very honored.
So,
I get
of
to
course.
be part of the Shorties.
Yeah.
The Shorties crew.
Exactly.
Exactly.
So,
Yes. So we'll go ahead and have you kind of introduce yourself and what you do really
Hello.
quickly. So
Okay.
Yeah.
Do I look at here or here?
You can
or
look
there?
at
there, anywhere.
Yeah, anywhere.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
important. What's up, guys? I'm Kirsten Collins, and I do music. I write, sing, perform. It pretty much runs in my bloodstream. So that is what I do, and this is who I am.
We love that. the honesty. We love the honesty.
Yeah.
And then so, since you mentioned that you are a singer, songwriter, everything in between, how did you get your start in music?
Ooh, so my parents pretty much put headphones on the belly. They're like, you're coming out singing whether you like it or not. And I sang my first full song on tune at 18 months. So my parents would bring me on stage with them, and I sang in front of 5,000 people when I was 5. And from there, I'm originally from Canada. I'm Canadian. And they took me out at 14 to just see if people would like my voice. And from there, I've been doing a lot of wild things that have grown me in this wild industry.
That's a pretty long track record. I don't think I started walking until maybe like when I was like 1 year old. So
that and like, singing in front of, a bunch of people.
Yeah.
I can't even do a presentation in front of like my manager.
12
Guys, you're doing it right now. What do you
people.
mean?
there's only like 4 people and like 4 cameras. It's okay.
I realized that like doing anything in front of a small amount of people
Yeah.
is a lot harder because you have
is.
more eyes that you can see on you.
Exactly.
When there's bigger amount of people, you can't really see nobody. You're
And I
just
feel
like, where am I?
And it's like I feel like not everyone will pay attention.
Exactly.
But with like a smaller group of people, like every corner is like there's eyes there, there, and there. But it's okay.
Yeah, they're analyzing.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
So going into kind of like what you were talking about being a singer-songwriter, what kind of music do you do? And
genre,
style.
The
If
genres
anything.
and styles. You know what's funny is throughout all these years of
Yeah.
wonderful making music, the main thing was always like, what's your genre? And I
Yeah.
never understood, how do I pick one?
True.
But I just love sound and frequency of life. And I think that it's come into popular music because popular music is stemming through all different genres right now. So it's pop, soul, and dance mixed together, I
like
think.
that.
what's
I
your
would say.
favorite?
Oh, I don't even know.
Do you have are you like biased over one a little bit?
I'm a song person. So
Exactly.
if a song
Yeah.
grabs
If it
my
feels good.
soul, yes. Feels good, I'm going to hold on to it.
And I feel like with what you mentioned, I feel like when sometimes people ask like, what genre do you like to listen to even? It's like, if it's a good song, it's a good song.
Facts.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
feel like sometimes adding like a genre to like whatever music you like to make or whatever music you like to listen to kind of limits the way you enjoy music.
Yeah.
But, music's music.
I think it has a purpose for
Yeah.
like, okay, this is establishing the characteristics of something that
Exactly.
bring life to it and the foundations of the song. But from there, you get to build off of these amazing, different creative things. You got to open the doors for
Yeah.
creativity.
And
Yeah.
since you're a songwriter too, I feel like it's a big thing that you like different genres. So you can like pick from each style.
And you're like, okay, here's a little country. Here's
Yeah.
a little bit of soul.
Exactly.
Some techno.
Yeah. So, I mean, me and AJ were talking about it like a while for like when we were kind of talking about you, but we noticed that you were one of the producers, songwriters
Producers and songwriters
of a K-pop group called
Aespa.
Aespa.
I love Aespa.
Yeah.
And I believe it was Savage.
It was
Yes.
savage.
Did you pick the title, like the name
I
of the
did.
song?
So that, oh my gosh, don't you know I'm a savage?
Was that like
was in
intent?
there.
Was it intentional?
Well, it just came out with that song. It was really it was my first time ever going to Korea and first time ever writing for K-pop. I had no idea. Really, I was a baby. I had no idea. I had an amazing guy named Jasper who is a legend in this world. Bring me out there, and he's like, okay, I believe. And I was like in the room. The first day, I was like kind of like crying. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. And then the second day I came in, and I just felt it. And there was this guy, the producer, Jail, in there.
Yeah.
And we just went in, and it just came out. I gave all I could in that song, and to find out it was that song, and then I'll Make You Cry in that one camp, and they both got picked, and it was amazing. And I was like, what? At that time, Aespa didn't exist though yet, so
I think it was there like during their pre-debut.
yeah, it
times.
was. They were like, this was what it was, right for a girl group.
Because I think I'm not sure how every K-pop company does it, but I know for SM, every single time before an artist debuts, they do like the songwriting camp, so then they can like scout potential songs so that they have like a bank of it, because they have their own A&R, and then they'll be like, oh, I like this song, and then they'll still fix that song within their own like recording songwriters, producers within like their in-house one. So once I saw your name, then I got joined here at TRAKLIFE. I was like, I know her. I was like, I know her. I've heard her song. I like it.
Yeah, I think that was around the same time when we pushed out that live session that we did in the studio,
Which was awesome, by the way.
I think I messaged her. I was like, this is the girl behind the masterpiece of Savage. I was like, do you know that? She's like, no. I'm like, now you know.
Well, honestly, I really like that song. Like, even like for a 4th gen K-pop
Yeah.
group, right? They're 4th gen, right?
Yeah.
And like, I feel like their music is very different from the generation before. So when I heard that song, I was like, it's pretty catchy. I like it.
Because I think before 4th gen like really started, it was mainly boy groups who did like the whole experimental sound.
And even if it wasn't,
Yeah.
it was
It's
like
true.
it was like Mamamoo doing like more of like the
acapella
the
style kind of, but yeah.
So
So the oh my god, don't you know I'm a Savage was actually like originally part of the song. Okay.
Yes.
that's so cool.
Which is awesome, because now every time I get to see them perform it or like hear it, I'm like, oh my gosh!
I feel like
I'm
that's like
fangirling.
one of the point parts of the song.
Pardon me?
That's like that beginning part is one of the point parts of the song.
Yeah, it tells you where we're going.
Exactly.
Which I love. Savagery.
yeah.
And then since you mentioned the song camp, how did you find out about it? Like, did you see like a kind of like how jobs, did you see like an Indeed like application process or something?
No, this incredible guy named Jasper, Jasper. He is a legend in the K-pop writing world. And I met him, and he's like, hey, you want to go to Korea? And I was like, sure, let's do it. So I was a baby when I tell you. I did not know much.
Yeah.
And it's been a gift to kind of since then like grow in this world and really just learn a lot about myself and about who they are. So
How long did you stay in Korea for that song camp?
I don't even know. I think a week.
Oh, I thought it'd be longer.
Really?
Maybe that's why it was. Is that why you felt like a lot of pressure? Because it was like, did you do the 2 songs at the same?
I
that
did.
week? Oh.
I'll Make You Cry and Savage. I think it's just in general, when you're going into something that is unknown or uncomfortable in life, regardless of what you're doing, you have to go into something that's uncomfortable. So that's scary, and you got to be aware of new things, and I think that it's important. So it stretched me, and it brought me into a new world, and I'm very thankful for it. So
You know, it's crazy. We were talking about that earlier. Like when in our previous episodes that we recorded, we were talking about how comfortability is like key, and it's just like you have to feel uncomfortable doing it, or you're not doing it right. In
Exactly.
A way.
Yeah.
Because then I feel like the most things that you do when you're uncomfortable is probably your biggest projects.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like, I mean,
definitely.
especially for me, like this podcast was very different. Like I was like, I first pitched it to her and I was like, okay, we're doing a podcast. And she's like, okay, visual. And I was like, audio. But like,
And I was just like,
it's okay.
both, everything. We're doing
Everything,
everything.
on everything and anything in between. So,
Exactly.
yeah.
I'm glad that you did, because you
Yeah.
look smashingly beautiful, and people need to see it. So
And then, since you mentioned that you only knew us for a girl group, like, what was the prompt?
say that one more time.
What was the prompt for like the writing?
Oh, I don't honestly even
Just
remember.
girl group.
It was just, I think they had some other things, but in that session, it was feeling. I think we just went in.
Yeah.
We just felt. I think the best music comes from like engaging into where you're at to create something for people to like last forever in. Like it takes them somewhere.
Yeah.
Music is supposed to bring you somewhere that you want to be or maybe don't, that's uncomfortable. And in that session, I brought myself somewhere uncomfortable, and then there it was. So it takes sometimes a village to make something beautiful in all ways. So
Honestly, I think that song is like one of the first songs that showed me that like K-pop girl groups can do exactly what boy groups do. So I was like,
exactly.
well, thank you. Don't
Exactly.
make me cry in this podcast. I'm gonna sit here and not cry.
try not to.
Makeup
Would you-
today.
Would you do it again? Like if you were invited to do like another song, like a Korean song, K-pop
Oh,
song?
definitely.
Yeah.
Once you get into the world of it, it's kind of hard to get out because you want to be in it so bad. It's fun. You get to the amount of incredible people that I've got to meet through this world and learn so much about who I am and then bring who I am into it. It's an exchange, you know, on both sides. Like in my own artistry and in my writing, I've grown so much. I like even the fact that Savage it's my first double platinum. I got my first plaque. You know, that's an
Congratulations
incredible
on that.
moment. Like you're like, wow, like I did this. That's crazy. You know. So it just it's one step. I think in life, what we're talking about uncomfortability. You're doing this podcast. One step at a time, one day at a time. You put yourself out there, and you never know what's going to happen with it.
Yeah.
And nothing's promised, so you might as well just jump in.
And then, since you mentioned about meeting people, like how we met you today, how did you get connected to TRAKLIFE? Because that was honestly like how I found out that like you were connected to Sarah and like the company. So how'd you meet?
Cairo introduced me. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Yes, they were right beside, and he's amazing, an incredible producer, family, and he was like, "Yo, you got to meet TRAKLIFE." And I was like, I will. And then the rest is history.
Aww.
That's the thing. Honestly, every person you meet has so much in their sphere, and you do as well. So when you come together, you never know what's possible.
Yeah.
I honestly didn't think that I was like, when I saw your name or like your live session, I was like, I didn't think me being a fan of K-pop and like me working in this industry is gonna collide in that way,
Or even
so
that
like,
quickly.
Exactly, because
Like it was like I was telling her when she told me about it. I was like, oh really? I was like, I worked with her. Like I was there during the shoot.
And
She
that was
really
like
did help me too.
and that was like
Right.
what, last year or like?
Yeah.
And I started here maybe like March this year.
My birthday month, best month.
So of course, and then so I was like, amazing, like my world's colliding. Can't
Always.
ask for anything more.
Honestly, it is true. I feel like God really does put us in these weird places where you're like, this doesn't
It's meant to
matter.
happen.
But then it's meant to be there. And
Yeah.
you're like, whoa, I didn't expect all this greatness to be a part of my life.
Yeah, and so I know you brought up a lot about how you were like very young in the industry when you did the K-pop music. How would you describe the industry now versus before? Has it changed? Is it the same?
Everything evolves, and I think that it's being willing to like move with where it's going and also be a part of moving it, you know, because I think that if you stand back and let everything happen, you're gonna lose yourself. And if you step in and put what you know you can, it creates just such a more beautiful environment. And so everything evolves in this industry. Think about even social media, or like, you know, before social media, I was considered, when I was young, that was actually unprofessional to do in the music industry.
Yeah.
And now it's like your platform and foundation of life. So.
And then kind of, I guess, since we're kind of been talking about your journey writing songs for other people, you're also a singer and songwriter for your own music. So like, how has that journey been so far?
Oh, wow. Emotional.
Like the documentary style question.
Yeah. I feel like any song that I write, I put myself into it because that's who I am. You know, songwriting is receiving something from somewhere and then laying it out.
Yeah.
You know, or writing in general.
Exactly.
And so I love melodies. Melodies are my favorite thing in the world. I also love lyrics, but melodies, I'm a melody fanatic. I could probably go on for hours with one note on the table. So like it's definitely a problem, but a good problem to have.
It's funny that you say that, because one of the things I know I wanted to ask you is, being a songwriter, do you do like the top line? Like, do you do like the melody first, or do you do the writing first, or do you like the beat first?
Ooh, well,
Or does it depend on like who you work with?
depends on who you work with.
Okay.
I say with Savage, it was more we did it together. So like we were like bouncing off the energy in each other. Whereas like I'll Make You Cry was an incredible production, and then I'm top lining on it with Kenzie, you know, like these different things that are happening.
Oh,
so
you worked with Kenzie on?
yeah, I'll Make You Cry.
I love Kenzie.
She's incredible.
I love
She's
Kenzie so
amazing.
much. She's worked on like a lot of groups too. That's what I know,
definitely.
yeah, so.
The fact is, when you're in these rooms, you're sitting there like, how am I in a room with all these incredible legends who have like literally impacted society and culture, like for so long, and then you get to learn so much, but then you bring something new. That's why like being new to the table, you're not boxed into what you know. You're just bringing something else, and so it's cool.
I like that.
I mean, talking about, your singer-songwriting and, you do your own music. Is there any, like, dream collaborations that you would ever want to do?
Oh, my cheeseburgers, probably all
Like the
of
cheese
them.
and the
All the
cheeseburger.
cheese and the cheeseburger.
Yes.
Who's the cheese and the cheeseburger?
Who's the cheeseburger.
Yes.
I mean, I would love to do something with Aespa. That'd be sick.
Another one.
That'd be sick.
But like where we're both singing.
Have you met them?
I have. I
Yeah.
got to meet them. They're so sweet.
Yeah.
It was a brief moment, but they were just really cool.
You said you watched them and the recent.
I did.
I was
to
watching
see
your
them go
stories.
to their concert.
I was jealous. I was like sitting here. I was like, I couldn't go. And
I
was like,
couldn't go.
screaming
I couldn't
like,
go.
oh my gosh, that was me. I had like the whole like lit up microphone that said Aespa. I was like, I wrote this song.
Exactly.
I'm so
It must
proud.
feel good though, like to hear like your song that you've helped write do so well.
yeah.
I feel like even for you as like a singer, like your own artist, like to hear just your song be sung by like fans
Oh my
and
gosh.
have them enjoy it.
It's like goosebumps because at first, like when you're not when I didn't have something out there with another artist before, as an artist, you're kind of like, oh, my cheeseburgers, like this is something that came from my soul.
Yeah.
Like how is this gonna turn out? But then once it happened, it was just such a beautiful thing to be like, wow, I got to be a part of that.
Yeah.
Like something
Yeah.
that I did, like moved people. And to watch them sing on those crazy stages all around the world, the song I wrote is like, I still get chills. It's like unreal to me.
Have you like how many, as an individual artist, how many concerts or like performances have you had, like your own like solo concerts?
Oh man, I've done a lot. I haven't recently as much as, I just did South by Southwest this year, which was really nice. I loved it, very fun. But most of my performances, not performancing, I'm making up words here, was when I was younger throughout all of Canada. And then in LA, I've done a lot of different venues, but I'm waiting because my big projects are moving right now.
Yeah.
So I'm preparing for the big, like, bam, come see me
Talking
perform.
about your project, though, I was like playing your music earlier to like kind of get it hyped, and I was like, AJ, this is like one of my favorite Kirsten songs. Like it was Exposed.
Thank
And when
you.
I heard that, like just acoustic, no audio, anything, I was like, I fell in love. I was like, I want to be a singer-songwriter.
Oh,
But
that
then
makes
at the
me
same
so
time, like,
happy.
No, like one of the first things when
Thank you.
going back to your live session, I was like amazed by like your range. You have a very wide range that I feel like even I don't have that. So
Well, that's why voices are different
Exactly.
for good reason.
Yeah.
You know, we each have a sound that is made for something to touch somebody's heart. I remember someone telling me one time, because I've had that range when I was little, I used to only belt. People would throw things on the table and be like, you're giving me everything at once. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm 10. And then this one vocal coach, it was amazing. He started giving me these keys and then his cell phone and then this. And he was like, you have colors in your voice, and I want you to use them. Allow yourself to feel the moments of where you're at. And that changed my life.
Yeah, especially
feel-
when she did Exposed. Like, I swear,
Yeah.
like, the ad-libs you did were just so natural. I was like,
Aw.
I wish.
because it's like I feel like there's some artists that like when their vocals reach like the high ranges, it sounds exploded. Not that that's like a bad thing, but like I like how yours sounded. It sounded like more natural.
Well, thank you.
So-
I appreciate it. Exposed is a wild song. I even have a tattoo of it. There's a big story about Exposed because it's truly about being laid out in like throne room of heaven, like with being like, okay, I don't know who I am anymore.
Yeah.
And it's like God saying, take off every word that's ever been spoken about you, whether that's beautiful, ugly, too much, too little. And I want you to hear how I feel about you. So it's about being
Exactly.
laid out and exposed as a person and like re-identifying who I am. So that was a big moment for me. So that is a very raw song. And so, yeah.
I like that song though.
Yeah.
Like genuinely, I'm not just saying this because there's a camera right there.
Wait, what? There's a camera right there?
Yeah, there was. But no, yeah, genuinely, I really like
Yeah,
that song.
we were
though.
like, I was like humming it. I was like really just singing because everyone was not, no one was here. It was just like me and her. And I was
Yeah.
just like,
Guys, you're
singing
supposed to
it.
film those things so I can like repost them. Look at it's making somebody else
exactly.
happy.
No, but
yeah.
You mentioned you've performed a lot. What if you were given the chance to perform Savage with Aespa?
Oh my God.
Would you like dance the choreo too?
Dude, yes. I would do the whole thing. I'd be like, okay, we're in it.
Exactly. Do
I
you
would
dance?
I do dance.
Oh,
I love
slay.
to dance.
Slay. That's
I'm a performer. Thank you.
As you should.
As
I
you
mean,
should.
what would he have expected? You know what I mean?
yeah. No, because I feel like that's the one thing that K-pop has over Western musicians is that a lot of them dance.
Oh yeah, they're great dancers.
So then when I was just like, what if the songwriter actually like dances with the group? I feel like I
I think
haven't
that'd be
seen
so
that
cool.
that much before.
Oh, that would be so cool. Honestly, I feel like every songwriter that I've met is an artist themselves. And like they would feel on top of the world to be able to be like performing the songs that they wrote with for these amazing artists who seriously kill it. Like Aespa kills it. Whenever I get to see them do something with it, it's like, wow, I feel proud. Like that's my baby. It's so weird. It's like they're not babies, but
I do have this one question. I don't know if it might be controversial to like the songwriting community, but being that you're a songwriter for your own songs and for other people, when you write songs for other people, do you ever get possessive of songs, or if you feel like, oh damn, I should have kept that one?
You know, I feel like there's gonna be emotions if you create something that means something to you.
Yeah.
But ultimately, every song will find its home. And I think that's, again, in life, you have to let go of stuff.
Yeah.
And that will sometimes, like, letting go of that song made it a beautiful, like, journey for me to understand myself in other forms, you know? So if I didn't, like, obviously it could find another home, but I think it's meant to be where it's meant to be. And in that, like, you just have to learn to let go. As an artist, as somebody who creates, you got to learn when something is for your journey in where it is supposed to be in your journey, you know?
And I feel like just art in general is not just for the artist. It will always end up being a part of someone else's life.
Exactly.
Because where there's an artist, there's the art, and then there's the people who view that.
Yes.
And then so it just becomes this like circle over and over again. And then you become a viewer of your own art.
Yeah.
So
No, and it's really impacting to your heart because you're like, wow, like I'm learning from something that was like, again, I see creativity as you're receiving something. And that's for more than just yourself.
Yeah.
So.
And that's what I was telling AJ when we kind of first started the podcast. It's like I wanted to dig deep more into
Who
not
the
just the
artist was.
music is, but everything behind that. Because I feel like the people behind the scenes, the singer-songwriters, the producers, it's like there's so much to it that no one really sees. They just hear the music and they're like, I like it, I don't.
Yep.
But like for me, it's just like, you know, it's like an art form. Like if I wrote a song about my life and someone sang it, you know, I would want someone to know that and be like, oh, this person, you know. So
music isn't just music anymore.
it never is.
No. You have to think a body of people in a room you know, for hours together that probably have never met in their life. And then every part of their story is coming onto a page. So it's a bunch of people's testimonies and stories coming into one moment. Or even if it's just two people or however many people are in that room. And it's about being vulnerable, like being exposed, you know, allowing yourself to feel the nature of the room. And it's always going to look different. And you never know what the outcome is until it's there. And I think that that's, again, one of the greatest feelings. So, other than performing it, but, you know.
I feel like there's a different like charm to songwriting, like the creative process, and there's like a whole other aspect of being on that stage in front of that audience, in front of the camera, that like just ties it all together.
Oh yeah,
it's like the icing on the cake.
Rush,
Yeah,
like, wow.
Exactly. And then I know you wanted to ask, since you are like an artist yourself too, like do you have any role models that you have looked up to, or do you still?
Or like even like you write your songs kind of like, oh, like when I grew up, like I kind of loved this genre or this person or this person's way of making music and kind of incorporated it into your own.
I mean, probably a lot. But growing up, I was only allowed to listen to gospel music. So there's a lot of gospel artists. And then Mariah Carey, Whitney Houston, like the soul, like big voice.
The divas.
The Celine Dion's, like everybody on the keys. Like my mom is an insane piano player and musician.
I love that they're all women.
They are. I didn't even recognize that myself. But my mom is insane with the piano, like incredible. And so she would just start playing and I would go for hours. I remember she would record, back then it was like this little machine, she would record it, and then like she'd have 6 hours of melodies and songs, and then she'd go through it and start piecing stuff together for me. And so without my mom and my dad, I would not be the woman I am today in like my music, and it really taught me, like I think I wrote my first official song by myself where I pieced it together at 6, and it went like, take me to the moon, take me to the moon.
At 6, and there's me watching like TV.
I was probably like scratching my head, yelling at my sisters at that point.
I'm probably getting yelled at because I'm doing something I'm not supposed to.
I'm getting yelled at for sitting on the couch doing nothing. Yeah. But no, that's so crazy. I think that's cool. I feel like I wish that I can do that, but.
Well, hey, think about that for a second. My first song was Take Me to the Moon. Now my songs are actually being taken to the moon. So, like, you don't know what you're proclaiming in your music either. So I think that that's another thing. When you're singing a song that somebody else wrote or you wrote, or you're speaking stuff into your life. And
it's like you're singing it into existence.
Yep. You're like, I believe this. I was 6. What do you mean? Like, yeah.
Who would have thought that like Kirsten at 6-year-old would be making songs for herself and for big artists and doing well and having double platinum?
Wow, you're making me feel nervous.
I mean, honestly, I feel like the only way you can go from here is up.
Thank you.
Up and maybe like up more like outer space, out of this world. Space. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. And in the up, there's like. With more, where the bigger you get in anything, or the deeper you get in anything, the deeper the issues are that will be exposed. So I think it's like that's the up and down of it all. There's always going to be something you have to jump over. But, you know, it's incredible to remember your blessings. That's somewhere where I'm at right now. It's like, wow, look at what I have got to do. That's incredible. Like when I'm crying in a corner being like, I don't know what I did. Then I'm have to be reminded to be like, Kirsten,
you did this.
Hey, you. Like, look over here.
Exactly.
I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm okay.
And I feel like that's important too because, like you said, you can kind of get lost in the tide very easily.
Very.
And this industry is very busy. You know, sometimes you get treated like a product instead of a human being.
Yeah,
so
you are technically a product.
Exactly. It's like your art and everything that you do is like something for everyone to take. So kind of I appreciate that you mentioning that because given that, you know, we're very new and young into this industry, that's kind of like our promise to each other that we wouldn't let other people's views of us or other people's hopes for us get in the way of what we want to do.
Yeah. Being respectful, but also like courageous to take things like where they need to go is really important because you just in this world in any way, shape, or form, there's always going to be someone who wants to take something from you and someone who wants to give something to you. You know, we all actually need people say, oh, this person wants to use me. But truly, we use each other. But the difference is if we are open with what we need with each other, it's collaboration. It becomes walking and winning together. And I think that in life, there's going to always be the other side of that, but you just have to be a walking pillar of that. You know, to say that no matter where I go, where I work, who I'm with, I'm going to establish that as my character. And in that, you will get hurt. That's just facts. But you got to just stand up again and be like, I'm willing to go the extra mile for the other person who may not have that courage to walk into it, you know? So it's important. That's a real thing. Like, everyone's going to try and knock everybody down.
Yeah. Everyone will always have something to say.
Yeah, well, because you have to think they're going through their own stuff, you know, and you don't know what their perception of something is. So you're not necessarily fighting against a person. It's just about all these different emotions or offenses that they carry, so including yourself. I mean, I have to check myself a lot of times.
Yeah.
Yep.
I like that.
Yeah. But this was a really great conversation, and I've learned so much, like, even just talking with you or seeing you behind the scenes, like seeing everything like come into place. But I think that brings us to the end of this episode.
For this episode, you never know. Maybe like in the future.
We'll bring you back.
We'll
We'll have you
have like a whole Kirsten Collins 1 month episode.
We'll have you hosting.
Oh, dang. I'll be like asking you guys the
right
question.
Here,
right next
I really want to go into right there. I mean, like, squish. Here we are with our pillows, our pillow babies.
Exactly. And
Thank
then
you guys.
But yeah, thank you so much for being here. I honestly, when you walked in there, I was like low-key starstruck. I was like, that's the lady that wrote the song that I've been dancing to.
Oh man,
That's the lady.
That's
the lady.
Exactly. No, literally, right before you got in here, I was dancing the song on the floor.
Why would you not film that for me? I would do it with you.
I didn't. Yeah, exactly.
These are my moves for today now.
Yeah.
Aw,
It's
I feel
nice
very honored.
It's nice to see again, like the human behind the creation. That's the one thing I like learning about stuff like this.
It is pretty spectacular. There will always be some weird things that happen, like me yelling cheeseburgers out of nowhere.
I'll use that analogy now. That I like cheeseburgers and the cheese in the cheeseburger.
Yeah.
If you get it, you get it. If you don't, then that means you don't watch this episode.
Come on, man.
So-
Who do you think you are?
Yeah.
Well, thank you for spending your mornings, noons, nights, late nights, and any time zone that you're listening in to us.
Yes. And of course, please do follow us on our socials at Short Asian Girls Podcast on Instagram, TikTok, X, Threads. And also for more episodes, head on over to at Short Asian Girls Podcast on Spotify and YouTube.
Yes. This has
Yes.
been awesome.
Also at TRAKLIFE.music.
For TRAKLIFE's projects like Kirsten Collins' live sessions and other TRAKLIFE projects, or more information about our podcast or other podcasts from the company.
Yeah, and if you want to shout
Plug
out
in your
any
socials right now?
And, come to over here.
Yeah.
From anything Kirsten Collins. Wherever you're at, I'll be there.
But yeah.
Yeah, and don't forget to use the hashtag.
Hashtag
Yes,
Shorties
hashtags.
moment.
That's hashtag SHORTIES moment to share your favorite moment from any of our episodes, whether it's this one or our previous
Future.
ones or our future ones, because you never know, you might end up on our episode.
Or like our guests like Kirsten can go through the comments and then see what you guys think about the episodes.
I'll definitely be doing that.
But yeah, this is your short Asian girl, AJ.
And I'm your short Asian girl, Sarah Michelle.
And this is our lovely guest.
I'm Kirsten
Our honor-
Collins.
Yeah,
You're our
honorary
honorary
shorty.
shorty.
Oh, I'm honorary.
Because you're taller.
shorty.
Everyone that's
Yeah,
taller
I'm,
than
like,
us.
Still kind of
You know,
not
but
tall,
but like
though.
AJ, everyone's pretty much taller.
But exactly.
Give or take,
Honorary
yeah.
shorty.
Yeah,
Here we go.
honorary.
But yeah, thank
I'm
you
cheating.
everyone for exactly. But thank you everyone for watching. But also please don't forget to live your life to the fullest, because just like us, life is too short. See you in the next episode.
Love you guys.